everyone, welcome back. It's glad to see you again. Today I was analyzing this particular stock, which is the AMC stock, and I got two findings, and both of these findings are actually breakouts. One is actually a normal breakout, probably you can figure out from this chart. The second breakout is kind of unique to me because this particular breakout is a sentiment deceiving kind of breakout. What does it signal to this particular AMC stock? Is it signaling that this AMC stock is going to have a super kind of bull after this? So stay tuned. I'm going to analyze on this aspect. This is Shah&Co. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel. We will see you. Okay, let's start to begin our analysis. I told you that there are two findings which I did from my analysis this morning. So the first one is actually rather direct, very simple. I guess you guys know about it. So if you take our trend line and you try to connect the highs of these two, you notice that there's a breakout here. Okay, so this is the first breakout, which is a very direct breakout. And that itself is sufficient for many of you to signal that this the price is going to move high. But I have another kind of finding, also a kind of breakout, but this breakout is kind of very weird because it's a sentiment deceiving kind of thing. It is not falling, it's against the sentiment, but it's a breakout. So I'm just thinking if that breakout is going to cause what a super bull kind of price move after this. So I'm going to share with you the analysis of this kind of sentiment deceiving kind of breakout that I'm talking about. So let's begin. So if let me erase the chart first, all the signs on the chart. Okay, so if you notice, right, this particular AMC stock, it has been moving on a sideway. Do you notice that this is actually a sideway? If I'll try to move draw a trend line, okay, it's moving up, and then you see that next it's moving down. Okay, it's a sharp drop. I would rather say, oops, I should be connecting to the first lowest, right? Okay, the first lowest is here, and then you see it's actually moving sideways, making a low, then the high is making a lower high. Okay. And then next low is making a higher low. Okay, so this is actually what we call a sideway, right? Do you agree with me? This is a kind of sideway. This is a kind of sideway, by the way. So some of you might not be familiar with what is sideway. Okay, so let me complete that. Okay, so we can see this is a sideway. It's a kind of contracting sideway. Okay, so you can see overall it's contracting. Okay, so it's overall is actually contracting kind of sideway. Okay, so in this contracting sideway, there's actually a technique to analyze the sentiment in this particular sideway. We want to find out okay, why this sideway actually happens. According to sentiment analysis, right, this kind of sideway happens when there are two forces fighting each other and they are not giving up. So the buyers and sellers, these two forces are actually fighting each other, and they're kind of neutral, and finally they're kind of neutral. That's why the move is sideways, because if the buyer is really strong compared to seller, right, it's going to be really a trending up kind of move. If the seller is really strong, then it's going to be a kind of trend down move. But a sideways is when there's a neutral factor between both the buyer's power and also the seller's power. So when these two are kind of neutral, then they tend to pull each other in a sideways manner. So that's basically what we are seeing here in this in the chart that I have drawn so far. This is actually depicting a sideways move. Okay, but if I were to draw another trend line, right, I want to draw this particular trend line. Okay, so this particular, let me erase that one and this one. Okay, this particular connecting the highs. Okay, actually you can draw two kind of trend. Another trend line you can draw is connecting this particular high, and it's a kind of a bit stronger kind of trend because it connects 3 points, 1, 2, 3 points, whereas the other trend line is only connecting the first and the second point here. So this one is actually a bit more stronger. Okay, but either way, either of these two trend lines, you notice that at this region is a breakout. There's a breakout there. Okay, but why that breakout happen? Should there be a breakout there in the first place, according to sentiment analysis? That's what I find it a bit funny, sentiment deceiving kind of breakout. You know why? Okay, you may see it as a breakout. Well, it's natural, it's a breakout there, but actually should that breakout happen in the first place? That's what I'm kind of puzzled. So let me explain to you in more detail. Okay, so let me explain to you in more detail. I'm going to erase everything. Okay, I need two loops. In order to do sentiment analysis on this chart, I need two loops. Okay, so I'm going to have the first loop, this one, and then okay, I'm trying to create my first loop. Okay, this is one loop. Okay, and then this is a second loop. Okay, let me complete it. Okay, so these are the two loops, but if you look at these two loops, right, the price is the first loop. In the first loop, the price is moving up, and then the retracement happens. So the sellers are coming in to sell down, right? That's one point you have to notice. Then in the second loop, buyers pushing it up, sellers pulling it down. Okay, so we need to compare the sentiment in these two loops. So when I compare the sentiment in these two loops, right, so I'm going to use Fibonacci retracement to compare this. Okay, I'm going to use the first, I'm going to analyze the first round of first loop sentiment. So in the first loop sentiment, right, you notice here, when I pull it up from down to up, you see the buyers were pulling it up, the sellers managed to pull down up to the level of 61.8, or rather I might say 63, for example. So let's put it at 63 in the region. So it managed to pull it down back to 63%, right? 63%. Okay, so that is for the first loop. Okay, now let's try to look at the second loop. In the second loop, I'm going to drag it up. Yep, it goes up to there. Okay, see, it pulls. Okay, let me enlarge a bit. Okay, the second round, right, the buyers were pulling up, then the sellers pulling down all the way to 68.6, or rather we put it 78.6, or we can round it to 79. Okay, we can say that the second pull down factor was like 79. Okay, 79%. Okay, so I'm going to erase it. So now what can we conclude by analyzing these two loops? Okay, these two are retracement, went up, buyers bought the shares in a very steady manner. And then there's a retracement happening down. The buyers come in again, then the sellers come in again, right? So if you look at the first retracement, sellers were kind of 63% of them kind of selling it, you know. So there's a sentiment of 63%. Power, rather sellers were like 63% active in selling it. Then in the second round, right, the sellers managed to pull it down by 79%. So we say that the sentiment for the sellers growing, because from a 63% sell down becomes 79% sell down. So the sellers are actually more motivated. So I can conclude from this, right? So there is a power down. There's a power to go down. I would say like that, because the sellers are quite strong. So they move from 63 to 79. So the sellers are getting more powerful. So I say I can conclude it as there is a power to go down. Okay, there is a power to go down, something like that. I can conclude like that. This is for the downtrend, for the down move analysis. Now I'm gonna erase the lines again, but this time I'm going to analyze the power to move up. Just now was the power to move down, right? Now I'm going to analyze the power to move up now. Okay, so again we need two recent kind of loops. So I'm going to pick this. This is a complete loop. So a complete loop must have high to low to high. So you can see I'm coming from high to low, and then I'm going up high again. So that creates one loop. And we also have we need two loops. Okay, from there to here, and then from there, oops, okay, from there to there. Oh, this is tricky. So it should be the first one. Okay, so I need to arrange this back to first one. Okay, the first one looks higher. We will we're going to use the first come first serve basis. The first highest will be picked up first. Okay, so now I'm going to analyze this on. You see, the sellers are selling it down, then the buyers are coming to pull it up. Now I'm analyzing the pull up factor. Now the sellers are coming down, the buyers are pushing it up. So I'm going to analyze the power to move up. Okay, so take the retracement tool. I'll drag from there to here. Okay, the first round, buyers managed to pull up by almost 62%. Okay, so I'll jot it down, 62%. So the buyers were having force to pull up by 62%. Okay, now in the next round, okay, in the second round, okay, the buyers were in force also, equal force. They were having like 62% as well to pull up. Okay, so they were having kind of equal power, 62% as well to pull up. So by analyzing the power to pull up, or rather to go up, they're kind of neutral. So the first loop 62%, the power to pull up 62%. The second loop also the power to pull up is 62%. So they are neutral. So we can't conclude that there is a power to move up. So finally, overall conclusion is, because there is a stronger power to pull down, so we need to agree to the fact that sentiment wise, there is so much power to pull down. Okay, so there is so much power to pull down. But then you notice a surprise thing here. So when I draw this, okay, so when this zigzag loop finish somewhere around here, okay, so finally when all the zigzag completed around here, it did not really follow the sentiment that it's supposed to go down. You see, there is a power, according to our analysis, there is a power to go down, but not power to go up, rather neutral. I won't say there's no power to move up, but rather neutral, but there is more power to move down. But finally what we saw is very surprising, that it actually finally moved up. It did a breakout here. So you guys can see that there is a breakout here, right? So this is a breakout, this area. Okay, so that's the first breakout, and that first breakout actually creates another uniqueness. What you can see here from that first breakout, you can see that it's creating a trend up. So it's creating a trend to move up. So from here it goes up quite strong, and then it retraces very small, very little, I would say, and then now it is again going up. Again it is going up. So we can say that this particular AMC stock is already in an uptrend move. It's already in an uptrend move because it already break out from here. It already break out from here. Okay, it already break out somewhere around this area. By using our previous low, connecting to the high and low, it's already experiencing a trend up, the uptrend. Uptrend is basically when you have the high getting higher and the low getting higher as well. So we are experiencing a upward trend move. So because of and do not forget about the first breakout we noticed, which is at this line. Okay, we also notice there is a breakout around here. Okay, the price successfully managed to break the resistance and move up. So now there is two breakouts. The first is a normal breakout, which is not very surprising, but the earlier one was actually more surprising to me because it's sentiment deceiving kind of breakout, and I'm just contemplating if this two breakout is going to create some sort of super bull for this particular AMC stock. What do you think about my analysis? Do you agree or you kind of disagree with my analysis? Give me your comments, and I'll stop here. I'll see you again in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe my channel, like and share. Bye.